Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our 38 pitch event. Today, we have five great daring funders coming from over Europe and US. Now, you can see here our great funders today pitching to us. So I want to start with Aurimas Mazuras. Aurimas, thank you so much for coming to our pitch event. Aurimas is the co-founder and CEO of Emplastrum, headquartered in Kaunas, Lithuania, held pre-seed around 387k euro, let's say 400. How's it going, Aurimas?
Yeah, it's good, amazing. It's a big pleasure to be there.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you guys because you make this happening. And I'm very pleased to have all of you with us today. And so, Aurimas, if you want to give a short intro to yourself, and after just go straight to the pitch. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Aurimas. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Emplastrum, and we are on the mission to empower every person with chronic skin condition to live comfortably by delivering personal, effective, and affordable care. People with chronic dermatological conditions like psoriasis, eczema, and vitiligo are highly motivated to seek treatment because the conditions are also cosmetic. In Europe, there are more than 50 million people who suffer from chronic skin condition. So, how those patients are treated today? The common practice is that when patients are diagnosed with the chronic skin conditions, physicians prescribe the topical cream, but unfortunately, 57% of psoriasis patients today report being unsatisfied with or failing topical treatment. If that does not help, a dermatologist should prescribe UV phototherapy, but due to a low adherence, usually it's bypassed. Why? Because patients rarely commit to come to the hospital every second day and repeat it for 2 months. Alternatively, they start taking biologics, which cost about 40 to 60,000 euros per year and have painful side effects. Those biologics create a massive cost burden for European healthcare system. Let's say if only 25 new patients initiate biologic therapy each month, the cumulative cost for insurance companies will exceed 200 million US dollars over the 5 years period. To overcome those problems, we have developed a modular, flexible device which integrated UVB LEDs and connected with a phone and dermatologist specialist who could prescribe the appropriate dose of the treatment and track the treatment results. A plasma device provides patients with an effective skin condition treatment which avoids unnecessary UV rays that can cause skin cancer and allows patients to carry on daily activities during the treatment. We already have the product that went through all necessary safety, quality, and biocompatibility tests. It also has patent pending status and clinical trials results. Within our clinical trials, we wanted to prove that patients can have safe and effective UV phototherapy skin treatment at home. As a result, 100% of study participants achieved improvements in 2 weeks. There are some competitors that also trying to solve these terrible problems. Currently, patients can get their full body treatment with a light therapy device, which resembles tanning booth, but they are available only in hospitals. And the closest competitors is Zerigo. They have developed UV lamp, but patients need to hold over each different skin place for 10 or 20 minutes a day. Our business is based on product leasing to patients. We will reach them through our or our partners' teledermatology platform. When dermatologists prescribe the treatment, patients are shipped device directly and a company representative help to set up. Now let's look closer at the structure of the treatment price for patients and the insurance companies. With the Emplastrum device, we reduce dermatologist workflow for about 60% and eliminate travel cost and physical place cost. As a result, treatment costs decrease for patients and insurance companies. And as we are the Pre-revenue, to prove our business model, we have 120 patients on our waitlist and have signed 3 memorandums with the teledermatology companies that covers Germany, Norway, Austria, Switzerland, and Estonia. Looking at how big is the market, as I previously mentioned, the annual cost for psoriasis treatment in Europe is over 112 billion US dollars. The European teledermatology market is valued at nearly 4 billion US dollars, and the European insurance companies spend over 50 billion US dollars on psoriasis treatment per year. But we also need your help. With an additional capital, we could get the CE mark, expand our patent, manufacture the first batch of the devices, and launch them in the market with our partners. To achieve our milestones, we also have an incredible experienced cross-discipline team that previously worked with the different healthcare companies and have the experience in developing, certifying medical devices, running clinical trials, and launching product in the market. So we're looking for the strategic investors who understand the medtech industry and are willing to join on our mission to empower every person with chronic skin condition to live comfortably. Thanks.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me thank you because you've been perfect. 5 minutes. Very much around the clock. Thank you so much. Let me ask you just a couple of questions. The first one is, are you going to manufacture the devices?
For the first batches, yes, we will manufacture by ourselves. But then when we will expand, we have contracted manufacturer offers basically from different companies that are based mainly in Europe that can assemble and manufacture the devices for us.
Regarding the business model, are you going to, you already said, if you want to be more precise, and also are you going to attract users, people coming to buy your device and after, of course, using your application?
Yes, so that's a really great question, and why we chose the teledermatology companies, because they already have the base of the patients. They provide the safe communication with them. They provide consultations, but what they're missing is the actual treatment. So when we're talking with them, we're saying that you're responsible for the software part, we're responsible for the treatment. And we basically ship the device to their patients, and they have the treatment for about 2 months, and then they're returning the device back. So it's like additional revenue for the teledermatology companies. And in some countries like Germany, those treatments are covered by the insurance companies. So from the patient side, they do not pay anything, and everything is paid by the insurance companies.
I mean, in terms of effectiveness, I mean, are you leveraging on, I will make your life better, or are you leveraging on, okay, I'm equal to the others, but with me, you pay 60% less?
Yeah, so the treatment method is not new. It's UVB phototherapy that's already exists. What we did, we shifted it to the home, so patients don't need to come to the hospital, and we solved this adherence problem. So the treatment itself, after we went through clinical trials and we proved the efficacy of the product, and after 2 months of the treatment, they have about 5 to 6 month clear skin. After which it's all again renews, because it's autoimmune skin disease. It never goes away. You need to manage it.
In terms of scaling, how do you intend to scale your business?
Sure. So the first market will be, let's say, region is Europe, because we have the partners there, and we see that in US there is a similar competitor, Zerigo. They also provide the treatment devices, which is connected with the telemedicine. So in future, I think it would be good merge between those companies, as we will cover and will be strong in Europe, and we understand the European market, and they understand the US market well. So in the future, I see the acquisition of those two companies.
Are you going to move from, you are pretty much B2B in terms of you're using a therapist to go through to reach anyone who needs your treatment, but are you going one day allowing if I have my problem, I want to come directly to you, can I come and buy my advice and use your treatment?
Sure. So without any marketing expenses, we already have 120 patients that are waiting for our products. They want to have it. They want to start the treating with it. And we see that more and more people are coming. They just check the website, they look at the product, how it works, and they want to get it. So for sure, this is our other revenue stream, which could be also profitable.
B2C requires a lot of money in terms of marketing, so I perfectly much understand why starting B2B. But yes, I agree, B2C can be another way to increase your revenue stream. Please, thank you so much, Orima. Stay with us because we are all back, and thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. On demand, Wesley Fogel, co-founder and CEO. How's it going, Wesley?
Sorry, very well. Thanks, Max. How are you?
Well, good. Thank you so much for coming. So, On Demand is based in London, headquartered in London. Digital health seed around £500,000 in pounds. Wesley, if you want to give an introduction to yourself, and after you can just go straight to pitch. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Max. Good evening, everyone. So I'm Wesley Fogel. I'm the co-founder and CEO of On The Mend. It's a health tech startup that I actually co-founded after my own daunting, frustrating, quite lonely experience through knee surgery. And I've teamed up with orthopedic surgeons and physiotherapists. I'm really excited to tell you about what we've been working on. So we are On The Mend, and we are here to transform physical rehab for everyone. Now, for anyone here today who's gone through physiotherapy or had an orthopedic surgery, they'll know just how challenging it can be, not just physically, but also psychologically, also financially, and it really affects your overall well-being. And that really explains why it can be really hard to stay motivated and keep engaged with an exercise plan, which really leads to a huge amount of wasted system resources. So this problem was really only made worse by the global pandemic, which left behind a record backlog of elective surgery waitlists. And orthopedics are the biggest single category of those waitlists right now. And the system is really screaming out for a better way to treat this huge number of people who are often waiting years for any kind of support. And On The Mend's mission is to build the first digital platform to improve the experience and the outcomes for everyone involved with physical rehab. And that's the surgeons, physiotherapists, healthcare providers, payers, and of course, the patients at each stage of their journey. Now, we add value through the chain of healthcare, motivating patients to stay engaged with their rehab and connecting them with healthcare professionals, saving everyone time and money and improving health outcomes, using new data insights to drive improvements through the care pathway. Now, this slide really says it all. The scale of the problem means that we are impacting the lives of patients and healthcare professionals that will create one of the world's biggest consumer health tech companies. Now, we've achieved a lot of traction to date, building an innovative digital platform in partnership with people from across the healthcare system, compliant with the highest standards of data and clinical safety. And the work we've been doing with healthcare providers over the past couple of years has led us to the opportunity that we're raising funding for today, which is to pilot with an integrated care system in the NHS to demonstrate how we can achieve an optimal route to market. And we've just completed an Innovate UK grant-funded study to build the first rewards platform for physical rehab. And we will use further grant funding to develop our USP through R&D. And we're in the portfolio of the Aviva-backed Accelerator Founders Factory, and we will look to work with the insurance market beyond the initial pilots that we have planned. So having now established a strong proof of concept, we will pilot with healthcare systems, build on R&D, expand across the UK and overseas before looking for a strategic exit in year 3 of our business plan. Now, we are paid by commissions of care per patient. And just to put in perspective, there are 20,000 patients awaiting orthopedic surgery within the NHS integrated care system where we are planning to pilot. And if we were to convert all of those patients at £50 each, that would get us to our first £1 million in revenue alone. Now, before COVID, 4.8 billion was spent by the NHS each year treating people with problems affecting their muscles, bones, or joints. And that figure has probably doubled since then. With an estimated 800,000 patient waitlist in orthopedics, £50 per patient is a £40 million revenue opportunity. And we target achieving 20 million in revenues in the next 3 years. So for anyone going through physical rehab, they really have the choice of either clinical products that provide them with generic exercise videos or require them to use a wearable, or they can use an app to reward them for steps taken each day, or even join a community to share the experience with others. But On the Mend will focus on enhancing the patient experience, bringing some of the best ideas with proven health benefits from outside of healthcare and apply these to the clinical pathway. So we've raised £550,000 over the past couple of years, and we're now looking to raise a £500,000 EIS round, really to support our pilot and early revenue generation. And we are strongly co-founded by a team that can add value throughout the chain of healthcare, with a patient, myself, an orthopedic surgeon and physiotherapist, supported by healthcare, technology and commercial expertise. So I look forward to talking with anyone who can help us to transform physical rehab for everyone. Thank you very much. I look forward to your questions, Max.
Thank you, Wesley. Let me start with scaling. Today, you work with healthcare providers, which is the NHS in UK. Now, in terms of scaling, when you move to new countries where maybe there are not national healthcare providers like in UK, how are you going to adapt your business model?
So actually, the B2B2C per patient revenue model that we have is very scalable. And because we've designed the platform, as I've mentioned, with patient, surgeon and physiotherapist in mind, it's a really scalable and adaptable platform. So we've already tested this with US and European healthcare providers as we've been through just even in the design phase of the platform. So we always had in mind different markets that we could expand into. And we've really designed it in a way that it fits into the pathway. So this is really around the patient as opposed to the system that we're working in. So understanding the different challenges patients feel is really the starting point. And then around that, we can understand the pathway of care that they enter. And there are various pathways that people can enter, but we've tried to build it in such a way that it could fit into as many of those pathways as possible, both in the UK and overseas.
Are you already generating any revenues or you're still pre-revenue?
So we're still pre-revenue with the grant funding we've just won, and with the pilot that we're about to start, that will be our first revenues officially, yeah.
In terms of feedbacks received from the person on one side and also all the others involved in your, let's say, cycle.
Yeah, so we've worked a lot in partnership with patient groups and with healthcare professionals. So the real challenge, I think, realistically, is about firstly time, because people really don't have time to learn a new system. They want to do as little as possible and actually put the patient at the center and make the patient do the work, if you like. So in a way, it's really on the patient to sign up for this app, connect with their healthcare professional, and then benefit from what the platform offers them, which is in this case rewards, often tailored care around their particular needs, and the ability to find and connect with healthcare professionals. So it's really the value flowing to the patient that then has the feedback effect on the system as a whole. So it's really turned around the patient and centered around their needs. So that's really what we've designed around.
That was my next question. I mean, we perfectly know that you can get the best surgeon, but if your rehabilitation is wrong, you've done nothing, actually, maybe even worse than you were before. I know perfectly well. Now, in terms of engagement, many, as I did, I remember when I was 18, I just left the rehabilitation because for me it was such a huge effort. And it's okay, I'm sure it will take 3 months more, but we'll get back soon. It was not that way. So in your case, is your platform application capable in somehow, I mean, I'm not talking just about rewards, having the patient stick there and starting from the beginning and finish the rehabilitation?
Yeah. So this is about forming habits, really. So it's about daily habits, weekly habits, monthly habits, and ongoing. So the way we've really designed the platform is about nudging and prompting on a regular basis to remind people to do their exercise. And you'd be even surprised that people want to be reminded at specific days and times to actually turn on an app and do something, even if they're getting rewards for doing it. If they forget to do it, then there's no value to them. So people forget and they need to be reminded. Then the second point is around the support that they're getting. So people feel like they need to get some guidance and some tailored support from their healthcare professional. This is another challenge that people often get basically left behind from the system. They're often waiting, as I mentioned, years for any treatment. And even if they are having treatment, it could potentially be a chronic problem or something that takes a lot of time, a long time to get better. So really, we're on the journey with them. So we want to understand each of their daily challenges and ongoing challenges. And importantly, we've designed the feedback loop within this to the healthcare professional. So there are questionnaires that are validated to understand specifically the outcome measures the patient achieves. And this is how we're going to start to understand the optimal care pathway. This is why we can add value, because we can actually improve the experience of the other patients that go through that journey, because the data will inform that. So a lot of this value will be generated the more people that use it, which is a classic network effect, actually.
I mean, in terms of funding, this funding is for you to finish to scale in the UK and after moving further.
Correct. So we've got regulatory compliance down in the UK. We're fortunate that the UK standards are very rigorous compared to other countries in the world. So we have a good head start on this. As I mentioned, we have designed for pathways that are quite universal, and we've already worked with some US providers in the past on this. And we look to the US as a very early opportunity to expand. And this is a market that we should definitely be considering 10 times, more than 10 times the size of the UK. I mentioned 5 billion spent in the NHS. It's excess of 200 billion in the US. And that number is so large because of the scale of waste. It's not because they have a higher quality necessarily. It's because they waste a lot of money on incorrect treatments and inefficient outcomes.
That's my last question. And after, unfortunately, we have to go. But what about insurance?
So insurance for us is an interesting opportunity. I think when we spoke at the very beginning, when I pitched this to Aviva, AXA, Bupa, Vitality in the UK, a lot of engagement, potentially a lot of positive energy coming from them, but they need to see evidence from the providers, specifically NHS or even more healthcare systems in general. So while we did join the Founders Factory Accelerator, as I mentioned, Aviva is backing this one. They need to see us, as they classically ask the question, how will you get the healthcare professionals to use this? And we can now publish and document, because we did our Innovate study and we're shortly going to publish research on this. And we will continue to evidence everything we do. I think evidence is the key, and insurance companies, they come on board when they see the evidence base. And for us, that's a lot of scalability potential. So we're very excited.
That's the challenge of any startup, giving some evidence on market fit. It's always a nightmare. Yeah.
Well, we keep going. We don't give up. Thanks so much, Michael.
Never give up. I always say that, the day after you give up is the day you get the money. So never give up. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Reza. Please stay with us. We are coming back soon. Thank you. Erick, DeLoach, founder Vision High Entertainment LLC. How's it going, Erick? All good? Unmute yourself, Erick. Otherwise, I can't hear you.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me. Yes, great. I really appreciate having an opportunity to be here.
Thanks to you for coming from Athens, Georgia, USA. You're a bit far away, and
Yes.
we are so happy to have you with us today. Sector is media communication, entertainment, management, film and TV, and public speaking. Seed around 150K in USD. Erick, if you want to give an introduction to yourself, shortly, and after go straight to the point and pitching. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, well, Athens, Georgia, home of the Bulldogs. We won 2 championships in the United States, and that's American football, not the world football, but American style football. But let's get into it. When we talk about book publishing, because I'm an international selling book author, and of course, the founder of the company. But let's talk about book publishing. You're talking about the GOAT. I want to use that term. That term means that the one of the greatest. And we're talking about William Shakespeare. We're talking about another person, Stephen King. We're talking about yours truly, J.K. Rowling. When we talk about money that can be made there. When we talk about music publishing, we think about the Beatles, Paul McCartney, John Lennon. We think about person that may be near and dear to you, but it's a part of us, is Clyde Davis. And then you go into speaking, the GOAT there would be Tony Robbins, and then Les Brown. And then management, we talk about the Colonel Tom Parker, Everest manager. So there's a lot of money to be made. We want to make sure that you guys are rich, we're successful, and really make a difference. Let's get to it. Okay. Again, my name is Erick DeLoach. I'm an international selling book author, and I am the founder, owner, and president of Vision High Entertainment, LLC. It's an amazing company, and it's a comfortable, high-profit tech investment for investors. Let's go here. It consists of tech book publishing companies, tech music publishing companies, a media company, and then with a management company, also a TV film company sector, and lastly, a public speaking company sector. The mission of the company is to create great new consistent content in various media forms that informs, entertain, inspires, and helps various markets of the general public become their best and gain positive outcomes and enjoyment from the content. Let's move to the company. Solves multi-million-dollar problems of various high-profit tech, companies, industry. Excuse me. But let's say here, due to the time constraint here, we will only cover 2 of 6 multi-million-dollar problems that the company solves. Let's start with books. You have online reading communities. You have offline reading and book buying communities. But the issue is an estimated 4 million books are published each year. That's 1 million top publishing houses and independent publishing companies, 3 million self-published. This oversaturates the market, and it leaves great veteran and new book authors unable to gain mass consumption. That's a huge problem. Moving on to music, you have major record labels, you have major artists, TV, film, and game music supervisors, but they're not getting enough hit and great songs. So they're not able to maximize their profits, and they're suffering. But Vision High Entertainment LLC comes to the rescue to save them. So we have, back to books, we have tech book publishing companies that vet and sign great veteran and new book authors. And we team up with book marketing companies, book promoters, and that allows them to actually get great consumption, sell many million, we can say millions, many books. Now with music, we have music tech publishing companies. And so the case there is we're signing great songwriters and music producers. I'm also a songwriter and music producer, but we signed them to make hit and great songs, get them to the major record labels, get them to the major artists, Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, all of these people, TV, film, and game music supervisors. And this allows these entities to get mass consumption, profit, and even expand their markets. Now, as of the end of 2022, we have book publishing globally at $93 billion for a market. Music, $7.2 billion globally. Now, when I want to talk about TV and home videos, because that is huge, $149.20 billion market. Now, we look to, after the investment, over $1 million made the first year. Second year, over $4 million made. Third year, over $16 million made. Up, up, up. You gotta love it. Okay, so let's talk about my team. Miss Mahogany Silverrain. She is a best-selling book author, award-winning book promoter, and owner of her own book publishing company with authors. Okay, with music, we have A2 Beats, Mr. Alan Murray, who is a professional music producer, producing the Amigos, the top pop rap group, and all of the world and other acts. Lastly, we have Mr. Ken Stevenson, who is a masterful filmmaker, who's doing, the Delta Airlines, who's doing celebrity TV personality, fashion designers and the designs, and also dealing with TV. In closing, we're looking for 150K, and that, I think that's less than all the other guys. So 150K, but we're going to spend it 40 plus times. We mean multi-million dollars in returns for investors. And within a year, you send your first investment check. And we're on par to be the highest profitable new communication, entertainment, media, tech company in the United States and worldwide. Let's talk, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Eric. I enjoyed your pitch. Let me ask you, how do you define your company? Media, entertainment, book, music, video. I mean, how do you manage all of it?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you heard the term. If you want to get something done, give it to somebody who's busy. It's a true statement, because you're running over here, you're doing film and TV, and you got people that's dealing with that. Then you're dealing with making music for Justin Bieber, for Macy Gray, for Chris Brown, for Usher, all of these different people. Then you're over here creating the next Tony Robinson, the next Les Brown, that's positive speaking, even more so than me. so I'm saying that it's just so exciting and so exhilarating. That's all I can tell you. You just can't get enough.
Today, you're already generating almost $1 million, I think, in 2023, if I'm right, I'm not wrong. So,
Right,
where are your main pillars? Where do you see the majority of revenues coming from?
Well, let's just say, yeah. Well, I want to say that after investment, because we'll get working capital. That's what the 150K is for, to generate over $1 million. I'm selling some books overseas. I got a contract for maybe $3 or $4 million for a new artist, the next Usher, Chris Brown, and with Shopping Songs, that's in the management agent region. And a song, a hit song, by the way, people, can be worth over $1 million, and over time can be $7 or $10 million in the lifetime or more, and it goes to the next generation. So there's a lot of money to be gathered. And again, investment, I think it's the less amount on the program, 150K. You get 12%, and we're going to make you rich and the company successful.
Wait, where do you see the challenge? Amazon started selling books and have to shift dramatically because it was difficult to do. Now, today, where do you see? I mean, are you sure you can have selling more books, more movies, maybe, and songs? They are very challenging sectors. Also, with the songs, you had the rights as well.
Right. Well, let's just go to books, for example, and just try to drop a quick jewel for you. A lot of times people will write their own books. I've been there. And then you sell to family, you sell to friends or whatever. And it usually, on average, it stops about 300 people that buys the book. Well, the key is book promoters. They are the gatekeepers to, let's say, 100,000 reading community, and they will, for a fee, we'll get it in front of that community. If 10,000, 20,000 people buy that book, or 50,000 buy that book at $20, and you get a $10 profit, I think you might be at $1 million on one book. Another thing about the book industry too, they're pretty slow in turnaround. So we can get the book out in 4 months. They'll get the book out in a year, and we will make sure that instead of taking 72% of your profit, we'll take only 40% of your profit. This is very much artists' appreciation and love for artists, making sure that they make money, and at the same time that we can beat all of the top companies that are out there. That's just an example with books.
Eric, thank you very much. Please stay with us. Don't move. We are all back soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew Chong, co-founder of uPledge, headquartered in Amsterdam, Netherlands. Financial seed around 1.7 million in euro. How's it going, Andrew?
It's going great. Can you hear me well?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for
Perfect.
coming. Without taking any more time from you, please, if you want to give an introduction to yourself, and after just go straight to pitch.
Absolutely. So my name's Andrew. Max, good to be here. And also congrats to the other startups. I think everyone's doing a really great business. I'm Andrew. I'm a first-time co-founder, CEO. However, I've been in basically innovation, corporate innovation, building products for the whole of my career. I've had the opportunity to build products with Ernst & Young and IBM, which we actually scaled to over 30 to 40 countries in a short amount of time. But again, that's corporate innovation. It's because of the huge networks of these companies, a really good product can get into markets really fast. So we get to focus a lot more on the product development, and we leave the scaling of the product to the other teams, the marketing and the servicing teams that exist in different regions already. Whereas in the startup space, you find that you got to do that yourself. You got to build the product while scaling it, while marketing it, while making sure you're legal and compliant, etc. So it's been a great journey so far. It's a learning experience, and I'm glad to share it with you guys. All right, so I guess this is the pitch. uPledge, impact investing made simple. You only need to remember that we're all about impact, gamification, and artificial intelligence. Can we look at the next slide? Oh, I think I can control the slide. Oops. So here's the problem, and I'm going to just break it down to you very simply. Impact capital is not flowing fast enough. You've heard about all this talk of impact, sustainability, SDGs, blah, blah, blah. But here's the fact. 0.5% of impact investments make up the whole market right now. There's more than 95 and 99.5% of investments that are flowing to other forms of capital, and that's normal because impact investments are new. In the past 10 years, it came out. It's not flowing fast enough. Studies are saying that we're going to miss the mark. Now, retail investment could be a solution. However, the problem is that retail investment has not really penetrated the private equity market either. We find that in the private equity space, aside from the really rich and investors out there, the ones with a lot of money, less than 5% of retail participation actually goes into the private equity market, and therefore people are not investing in impact. People are not being participative. The question is why? So to unlock retail capital, and I want you to think about the apps like Robinhood, the apps like eToro that have already existed in the public market. What makes them different is that they understand how retail investors think. The non-professional investors that have way less time to read and do their research, how do you entice these people? Well, here are a few tips. First, you got to create a fun space where people actually come and feel connected by a mission to something. The second thing is that you need to create some trust. People don't have the time to read, so you got to make trust appear magically without them spending a lot of time on it. And the third thing is that they almost need to feel like it's natural for them. So that's where gamification perhaps comes in, to incentivize behaviors that is not necessarily what the investor may think about. It's something that feels natural to them. So think about these three concepts, and I'll tell you about exactly how we embed that into our solution. So our product is about empathy. We create a fun space where people are connected to projects that are impactful and meaningful. We create trust by making sure there's an element of intelligence behind the selection process and automation as well, to make sure that we don't sink our own ship by trying to over-engineer. And there is the gamification that incentivizes learning. Actually, now that I think about it, it's more regulatory technology, because we really gamify impact investors to get regulated without them even knowing about it, crossing through these hurdles. Now, again, the unique value proposition for us is two things. The first one is a really sleek UI. We know how important that is. A reg-savvy UX, meaning that, again, for example, in the Netherlands, you need to be regulated to some degree to make even small investments. We want to make that seamless. And the points and leveling system makes it quite intuitive to learn and to invest. On the other side, there's the AI part, which we feel that for an impact company, it needs to be important that the reporting and measurement is there. We try to release that burden by doing that automated mapping and reporting for the companies that come to our platform. Now, business model, very simple. We charge diligence fees, upfront fees, depending on your region. We also take a success fee, but we do want to decrease the success fee a bit more. So once we gain more users, there's going to be a subscription fee paid by the premium users that will be using more features. The market size is quite sizable. Again, the investment market, financial services market, it's massive. About 500 billion in terms of total addressable market. If you look at the fees, that's about 2.5 billion in revenue. There's all sorts of things that drill down to this serviceable operational market, which is about 16.5 million that we can probably get in the first 1 to 3 years once the product is fully live. This is our milestone, really quick because time's running out. So we were incubated in Oxford, we accelerated. Within a span of 6 months, we got our first pre-seed funding of about 300K. Subsequently, we got a grant by a government grant by an emerging market. We're almost fully regulated by one really, really tough regulator in the Netherlands, and we're working on 2 more regulatory licenses right now. Currently, we're running our pilots with about 1,500 users. We have 7 signed and paid LOIs in the pipeline already. We are globally validated. The fact is that when we first started the product, we immediately went out there and started testing it with regulators, international organizations, institutions, governments. We have a huge network built up globally. And if you're asking, how do we reach so much scale in the span of 1 year? The reason's because my co-founder and I, we've both been building businesses and technologies for all our careers. I myself, I see some typos in the slide, but I myself am a leader in innovation, AI, product development. Reka is more towards markets, legal, and compliance. And our team as well is global. So we have a team that spans about 4 continents right now. What I love about a completely global team is that the insights that we get, the first people we test our product on is our own team members. They love it, we love it, and we know that our customers are going to love it. That's the next step of testing. Why us? Just to close up, because we built better, faster. When we first raised our pre-seed round, people told us that we needed at least 1.5 million to get to the stage we are at now. We've only used up half of the pipeline that we had last year because we know great people that can build great products across different regions. So we can always get the most competitive rates. Finally, this time round, we're raising 1.7 million. We want to get this into the hands of as many users in a span of 1 year. And this is what the build is going to look like. You can see exactly, you can speak to us later on what the money will be used for. Thank you very much. Please contact us. And FYI, we've just come out of Web Summit Rio. We were representative of the Dutch delegation, the Dutch ministry in Brazil, and we'll be representing the Amsterdam Municipal in the next web next month. See you guys there.
Thank you so much, Andrew. We need so much impact. It's true that very little is still going to the impact investment, but I do believe that the huge concern when it comes to impact is the return on investment. And this is why professional investors are well positioned to understand. But I'm very great you're doing a great job to make even retailers to start investing consciously in impactful startups. But my question is, are you supporting right now only startups or any kind of project, even in later stage, being impactful?
Currently, right now, our main focus is startups that are between the pre-seed and Series A stage. I think later on, once we start having more products, we'll definitely be looking at even more later stage startups. So the moment we start going into a P2P loan types of mechanisms, secondary markets, we can start looking at above just Series A. I think different mechanisms work really well depending on what the stage of the investment is. And for us, because I think what we're really trying to codify in the platform is the way that we take these mechanisms, translate them into the technology, and make sure that it's seamless to onboard any user. So in our roadmap, you're going to see P2P, you're going to see secondary markets, you're going to see tokenization. We're already working on a spin-off product that actually allows us to even build or pull in investors at an even earlier stage than your pre-seed, meaning your family and friends round. That works a little bit more with tokens. So it's really across the board, pre-seed to Series A.
In terms of scaling, you have been mentioning Robinhood, but how close are you to crowdfunding?
Crowdfunding, we are using that as a mechanism. So again, the idea is here that we can use any mechanism and pull it onto the platform, because what we really want to do is build the platform in a way whereby any mechanism that comes onto that we use the retail investor comes on board and they start investing. So the nice thing about the public market type of apps is that people don't really know or really, they're not fully aware that, look, I'm investing in a fund or funds or a fund or on the stock market itself. There's so many mechanisms. A really good platform is seamless in a way that it will diversify the risk for you without even knowing what you're into. Of course, the more educated investor would know exactly how they're bundling their products or what they're going into, but we just want to make it seamless. So meaning that when you come to our platform, there's a series of investment models, and all you need to do is focus on the companies that you love, and we'll give you the options. Look, do you want to look at a crowdfunding mechanism? Do you want to look at a token mechanism? In the future, do you want to look at a fund and indirect investment mechanism? And we're working on all of this. So the investor shouldn't know what are all these different things. If they want to know, they can find out, and it's going to be on the platform as well. They get educated.
That's my next question. What about education? If a retailer comes to the platform, you have a bunch of regulation to deal with.
Yes.
But I'm sure you're already doing pretty well. In terms of educating, when they come, it's very nice when people invest money, because they invest in money, even if 50 pound, dollar, euro, whatever they are money. People work for them, so they must know, as you say, well, be educated. I'm investing. But many platforms, it's finding the way how. Make sure that you have enough money, because it's risky to invest. We all know that it's risky to invest, but we must educate them to invest. It's different. So on your side, what you do?
Exactly, and I think that's where the European European region have come ahead in terms of that thinking. Everyone agrees that the way to secure retail investors is to make sure that they're educated, and the platform was sort of built around those principles as well. So when you come onto the platform, the first thing that you see, it's almost like an induction or a tutorial. Like when you get in a game, before you get into the real world, you play the tutorial first. So the tutorial actually has all these modules and quests, which gets you to run risk simulations for yourself. You take certain literacy modules, some basic ones, and then once you pass all these little checkpoints and you're gaining points on the platform, then suddenly you're able to invest. But it's not suddenly, is that we've walked you through the steps and given you this fun way of getting onboarded, and then you can make your first investment. So the Netherlands is particularly tricky on this, because the AFM is one of the most strict regulators in the world. They're quite on par with, say, like the FCA in the UK. So going through the Dutch regulator as well, it's been a bit of a learning curve, and we know that we're hitting like a high bar that they're setting. But we also know that if we can get past the AFM, that means that we're working at one of the strictest regulators in the world. And when we start going to other markets, suddenly the conversation is much easier, and people see, well, that's a huge value add. For example, right now we're speaking to the Malaysian regulator and also the regulator based in Kenya. We're already applying for a license there. They find this innovative, because they say, okay, European-based standards, of course, is going to be on par with what we're doing, and we know that people are being kept safe. So education is really high, but at the same time, I don't want to over-engineer it. We just want to make sure there's minimal modules in there. If we do put in more modules, it needs to be done in a really smart way, that the points are being awarded, they're being kept interested, and they want to learn about new things over time. But that's something for us to solve as the platform grows.
My last question, what investors are you looking for?
What investors are we looking for?
Yeah, what's your investor persona today?
Oh, okay. My investor persona, very simple. Today, or rather last week, I was at Web Summit in Rio. So we were pitching on stage, and then immediately someone came over and said, hey, look, I'm a father of 2 kids. I'm an investor myself, but I have no time to teach my kids how to invest. Now, I would love for these 2 guys who are in college to really start picking up some investments in private equity, but I don't want them to sit under my name. Can I introduce them to your platform so that they can take some of the money and start already putting it into small investments, learn on the way, and then from there start broadening their portfolio? So both the father and his kids saw that as a great opportunity to educate and also to learn and start getting to the market. We're looking for people that are either first-time investors or people that are already investing and are sort of just doing it as a hobby. Of course, we don't block the investors that are already professionals. Actually, they have a fast-track route through the tutorial, through some of the modules. But what we want to do is really unlock the people who are not yet investing or the people who are about to invest.
Andrew, thank you very much. Stay with us because we are all back soon. I'm moving to our last but absolutely not the least founder, Andres Payne, founder of Vollou, headquartered in the Kingdom, audio tech music, pre-seed around $500,000 in Great Britain pounds. How's it going, Andrew? Andres, sorry.
Doing very well. Thank you. Thank you for the great introduction. So hello, everyone. As Max just said, so my name is Andres, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Vollou. And Vollou were three first-time founders, all three of us very big music fans. And the idea came because we've got a lot of friends who are artists, musicians, DJs, and we saw that these guys, the way that whether a song of theirs was being played in a nightclub was never being tracked, and therefore they were never making any of the money. So welcome to Vollou. And Vollou is, Vollou is the solution for music lovers made by music lovers. Let me start off with a couple facts. What if I told you that the current audio recognition platforms that we all use, whether it's Shazam, SoundCloud, ACR Cloud, you name it, are not adapted at all to the nightlife industry and actually act very poorly, especially when a DJ is playing music? What if I told you that by law, all venues and businesses must pay a music licensing fee to the local performance rights organization? Last year, that was a market worth £9.6 billion. And lastly, of the 8,000 nightclubs and bars that are in the UK, which is the country we're based in at the moment, keeping in mind that the UK is a very technologically advanced country, can anyone guess how many of these 8,000 nightclubs have installed an audio recognition device for royalty tracking? Only 18. So as you can see, there's a very big problem and a very big opportunity with how currently music is being tracked in nightclubs and those royalties being paid. There's a lot of money being collected by the performance rights organizations, £9.8 billion to be precise. But due to how expensive current solutions are, how unscalable, and generally how few nightclubs are tracking and are providing the performance rights organizations with the list of songs that played throughout the event, leads to very inaccurate payments. And the payments that are paid to the artist bear no reality to the music that actually played. So at Vollou, our mission is to build the first audio recognition software adapted for the nightlife industry. And we have done just that. We have managed to build an audio recognition that is accurately going to track all of the songs that have played throughout the night and provide then the accurate track list straight to the performance rights organization so that the performance rights organization then knows all of the songs that played throughout the night. But we've also seen that this technology can also be used by venues and nightclubs as a better way to engage and interact with their fans, both current and potential fans, as well as with music fans like myself, to save and share my past events, as well as discover new events based on the music and my partying habits. We've got two main competitors at Vollou, Shazam and ACR Cloud. And as you can see, Vollou, the red line, significantly outperforms the both of them, especially looking at the x-axis where it looks at the changes that a DJ does to a song. Our current revenue stream is one of three. Number one, the performance rights organizations, where we've already been in discussions with them, and we would take a small commission from all of the payments that we bring to them. Secondly, in-app ads, where we will leverage all of the data and information from the users using our application. This is data on their partying habits, as well as the music that they listen to when they're going out, and leveraging this data for better and stronger recommendations. And lastly, a dashboard we provide the venues and event organizers with key data and insights on their events and their clientele. Looking at the overall market size and comparing that to our revenue streams, we can see that the performance rights organization, that's a £1 billion opportunity last year. The total addressable market for the users and the in-app ads, that's an £8.66 billion opportunity. And lastly, the nightclubs, that's close to £500 million. Now, instead of looking at the entire world, looking at just a small location, a small geography, London, where we are based, you can see it's already a very interesting market opportunity and enough for us to get the ball rolling. We're already working with some key companies in the music industry, ranging from event organizers all the way through to venues, advertising companies, as well as record labels. The team is a very diverse team with a background in business, computer science, and business marketing, music marketing, sorry. And we surrounded ourselves with a very strong tech team, as well as some key industry advisors. We're currently raising our pre-seed valuation, our pre-seed round, where we're raising 500,000 at a valuation of 3 million. Thank you very much, and I hope to get in contact with all of you.
Thank you, Anders. Let me start with scaling.
Yes.
Today in London, London is an absolutely market for you, but how do you plan to go out of London in terms of how do you go to market your platform application?
So that's a great question. Basically, the way we're going to do it is we want to prove our concept with one performance right organization. Once we have proved our concept with that one performance right organization, being the British one in this case, all of the other countries in the world worked exactly the same. In all of the countries in the world, by law, you need to be paying your music license, and by law, you need to provide all of the songs that you played throughout the night. So what we're going to do is prove our concept with the British Performance Right Organization, and once that has been done, we can then start talking to all of the other Performance Right Organization with this new solution, which is a solution that they're desperate for because there's nothing like it in the market. And right now, no Performance Right Organization out there is able to have all of the songs that are playing in the various nightclubs. So it would then be scaling by going to the Performance Right Organization and then just a top-down approach from there.
In this case, the problem is they don't know how much are paying for. They know what
so they're collecting all of the money, but they then don't know how to distribute that money. So the money is being collected and there's no problem with that. The problem is once the money is being collected, they don't know that Post Malone played X amount of times and this other artist played this amount. So they then don't know how to distribute the money. And that's
so the problem is it distribution the money to the artist. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Where is the problem?
Exactly.
Okay. In terms of technology, it belongs all to you guys?
Completely. We've got the full IP.
And in terms of marketing, today it's a pure B2B. Are you keeping this business model? Are you going to market your business again outside the kingdom?
So our solution is both a B2B and a B2C. And the key reason for that is because we don't want to only track the music in the clubs that we're partnered with. We want to also have the option that if, for example, there's a club that hasn't partnered with us, but there's a user inside the club that is using our platform and is using our technology, we can already track all of the songs that are playing over there. So we can use kind of like the prisoner's dilemma, argument over there. So whilst the revenue streams will always be B2B, we are marketing it both B2B and B2C in order to have that advantage.
I mean, you got already good traction. This round is done to scale. Now, what investors are looking for?
Well, we're always looking for smart money over anything. So it would be anyone that not only can give us can match what we're looking for in our round, but more specifically, someone who is connected in some way to the music industry or has contacts within venues, nightclubs, or just music industry in general. Would be the ideal investor.
Thank you so much. Stay there where you are because we are bringing all our funders back, and we start from you. Thank you, guys. We are all in. We are waiting for. I think we are missing one. But meanwhile, we're waiting for Andres. Yes, Andrew is here. Andres, let me start with you.
Amazing.
As we always finish, and why invest in yourself, your business, and of course, your team?
Well, I mean, I think the main argument for us I'm gonna be very honest, we're all three first-time founders. So the main argument for us is really the technology that we have already built and the opportunity of that. We built a technology that beats all market competitors, including Shazam, which was sold for over half a billion pounds to Apple. And we've got a technology that beats it. And we're entering a market that is completely untouched and is a very big market opportunity. And more importantly, our clients, we've already spoken to our clients, and our clients are desperate to use a solution like ours. We just need a little bit of funding in order to finally prove our concept. And then from there, we can then start grabbing all of the various different performance right organizations.
Thank you so much, Andres. Wesley.
So yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we also have a market-beating technology in the health tech space, and we think we validated the need for this technology by putting it into the hands of early adopters, and we're now raising a $500,000 seed round to work out the optimal route to market. And the phase of growth that we're in now is based on two things. Firstly, validating the NHS, getting the NHS logo and adding credibility, showing regulatory compliance. And secondly, we're going to be looking to alternative markets that are vertically aligned to the UK, as well as overseas, because we see these moving us forward quicker. So thanks very much for the opportunity.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much, Wesley. Arimas.
Yeah, so we have really experienced team that worked previously with the medical devices, and now we create something that is we worked on our technology for more than 4 years. We patented it, and we're only one company that enables patients to have that kind of treatment. And as we're in very early stage, this is a good opportunity to join us and basically help people who suffer from these chronic skin conditions.
Thank you so much, Arimas. Andrew. You're muted, Andrew.
Oops, apologies. And you can see I've also had a wardrobe change in the past 5 minutes. Yeah, no, I think for us, the idea is great, obviously, and we love the product. But why I think you should invest in us is really because of the co-founders and the team. The only reason we've been able to scale out the product so fast is really, I think, the execution is right, and we've had the right network. So even though we're first-time founders, me and my co-founder, we've been in the innovation and fintech industry for a long time. And that means that every time we had an idea, we could test it out with all the people in our network across different regions. Every time that we had a small tweak and a pilot, we could run it in 3 or 4 different countries at the same time, just because we say, hey, look, I have something. Can you take this? Can you test it out? We could find the best contracts or the best suppliers, because these are people we've worked with. One of our current UI UX director, he's someone that's worked with me for about 3 years in IBM. And so immediately I was like, hey, here's an idea. What do you think? And he's like, I love it. We love it. We all love it. Let's get on it together. And I think, again, ideas are great, but it's about execution and knowing the right people. And we've been lucky enough to find the right people who believe and are able to test it out for us. And I think in terms of building the right product, it's about scaling that. It's about seeing how many people can come on board really quickly, validate the idea. And then, if people say they want it, we're going to build it. That's about it.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Erick, I will let you close it.
Okay. Great. The whole thing is when we're talking about books, and let me correct that, 50,000 units at $10 pop is 500,000. So 100,000 at $10 a pop is $1 million. So if you do 10 books, that's $10 million from one author. But the money, make a lot of money. But the other thing is is content. I'm very concerned specifically with music. I want more Beatles, Michael Jackson, great music again. And speaking, public speaking, not just myself, but great speakers that motivate and encourage young people and older people to be the best versions of themselves. So we're talking about making a lot of money and making great contents in various media forms. And 150K compared to the other guys, I think you want to jump on board, and we'll make you rich and the company very successful, and really give great content out there that changes the United States and the world completely. We want to make a difference.
Erick, Andrew, Arimas, Wesley, Andres, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you everyone who's watching our pitch event today. And if you want to get in touch with our founders, you can go straight to them. We have no problem, because we don't charge any success to any investment made through EquityMatch. But also, if you want to get in touch with us, we are more than happy to make a warm introduction. And again, thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.